No, lobha comes. The lobha is your lobha, but you attain that lobha either from previous life, because you associate with advanced devotees, Raganuga Bhaktas, or you practice at Rag Marg, and then you would start even at the level of Nartanivriti. In Rag Vartman Chandrika, Krishna Chakravarti Pad says that Raganuga Bhakti begins at the beginning. Beginning is a Nartanivriti, the purification stage, which is vast. Anishtita Bhakti is very vast. To come to Nishta, it's like, so that's Nartanivriti means before Nishta. And even you go to Nishta, there's still Narthas, and you go to Ruchi, there's still Narthas. You go to Sakti, there's still Narthas. You go to Bhav, there's still Narthas. Even in Prema, there's some Narthas. But very nothing, very less. As you do, it goes less and less. So if you're very much into Raganuga Bhakti in previous life, then in this life you start opening up to Bhakti. You go on the internet, and especially nowadays, like maybe some Russians or whatever. I mean, when we started, it was only ISKCON. It was the only spiritual type, Gaudiya movement practically. But nowadays, many. So then you're in Russia, and you maybe develop from your last life and practice Raganuga Bhakti, because the Russians are quite elevated, I think so, much more than we Westerners were in those days. I think it seems to me in many ways, because I know many. So you go on the internet and you're looking, because you already know about Raganuga Bhakti, which I didn't know in 1975, honestly. But you heard about it. So you type in raganugabhakti.com, Raganuga Bhakti Prem, Taranga, this, that, and you're reading this article and that article. Oh, it's very interesting. And then you send a message to that Facebook or website. I'm a Bhakta. What is this Raganuga Bhakti? Does anybody teach this? And then all of a sudden, you come from Moscow, you go to Delhi, you come straight to Radhakund, you meet Anantadas Pandit, and he's a guru, and you get initiated. If you're qualified, if he thinks you're qualified, he initiates you, and you start practicing Raganuga Bhakti within 1 week, if you're qualified. Guru will know. So why he came from Moscow, from Delhi, because I know devotees like that are even here. They had nothing. They didn't go through the ISKCON way and then ISKCON the Babajis or Gaudiya Mata Babajis. They just went Sakshat straight, or went to Navadvip. This is all the Karnam Guna Sangasya, last life Sangha association.
What about in this life? If you don't have love in a previous life.
So if you don't have love in a previous life, then you get it from Raganuga Bhaktas, by Sangha, by Kripa. That's why everything is Kripa. Kripa to begin Bhakti, Kripa of God. It's every step of the way. It's Kripa Vaishnav. Vaishnav Kripa, Mahajan Kripa. Sadhu Vaishnav Kripa. So that's why we have to associate more and more with devotees, and we get the mercy. Any kind of good devotees in our family, and these nice devotees. Vinod Baba and this one, that one. And of course, there's some. They have these laws, but frankly speaking, India has many, many laws, but nobody follows. You must have seen, especially traffic laws. So it's like this. So that every group America has so many laws, but not everybody follows. We should follow the law, but sometimes, that's a personal, individual issue. the fitness or the adhikar, qualification or adhikar, or fitness or eligibility to begin the practices of Raganuga Bhakti. First of all, it's not that big a mystery. It's not a mystery. It's not that Vaidhi Bhakti is that Raganuga Bhakti is some different kind of whole different experience. There's Shravanam. It's the same thing. We have 9 limbs of devotion. So we have 9 limbs of devotion in Vaidhi Bhakti and also Raganuga Bhakti. But in Nectar of Devotion, what we call Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he says it begins by Loliam, Krishna Loliam. Loliam or Lobha. Loliam or Lobha. Lobha means, of course, in Hindi, greed. But this means greed to attain Krishna in a particular way. You hear about the bridge. How do you know if you have the adhikar? If you have the adhikar to follow Rag Bhakti, you're very desirous and you're greedy and you want to follow the resonance of Vrindavan in a particular mood of love. I've read about Vrindavan, I've heard about Vrindavan, maybe never read, just heard so much, and read so much or whatever. And then I like this Braja Lila, I want to serve Krishna like Brijvasis, and all the Brijvasis I like gopis, and so I want to be a gopi of Krishna. So then you inquire about that from Guru. I am very desirous to be a gopi of Krishna. And he says, well, in Gaudiya, in our Sampradaya, we don't present that as be a gopi, yes, but not an independent lover of Krishna, like Radharani, Lalita, Vishaka. There's 5 kinds of gopis or 5 kinds of sakhis, and one is called Nitya Sakhi or Pran Sakhi, also gopi, but they're the manjaris. Another nickname is called Kinkari or manjari. They're maidservants, just like in the old days, Middle Ages or whatever, when there were queens, the queen would be there and she'd have so many teenage girls or young girls that would be her maid servants that would serve the queen, brush her hair, wash her clothes, like female servants. So the manjaris are the female servants. Radharani's 14 years and 9 months, 10 months, 2 weeks. And then the manjaris are like 12, they're 2 years younger, 12, 13. So that's in terms of Sakhi Bhav, or the mood, and the Madhurya Bhav, it's Madhurya, it's conjugal love, Madhurya. It's conjugal love of loving Krishna and Radharani in the mood of that intimate man-woman love, Madhurya. That's what the gopis have. But some have actual direct relationships with Krishna as his lovers, like Radharani, Vishaka, etc., Chandravali, Shaibya. And some have experienced Madhurya Lila with Krishna by assisting Radharani and her Madhurya Lila and her conjugal love sports. So whatever Radharani feels, because they're so tadatmya with Radharani, there's so much identifying with Radharani's heart and mood and seva, that they feel what Radharani feels. She's happy, they're happy. She's in bliss, they're in bliss. She's sad, they're sad. So they don't feel any independent need to meet Krishna alone or separately or enjoy with him. And that's not their... So that's what Lord Chaitanya is teaching basically in Gaudiya Sampradaya, and all of our acharyas are writing about and teaching. Prabhupada was asked about the acharyas, are they all manjaris? And he said, yes, all our acharyas are manjaris. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Gorakishore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jagannath Das Babaji, Vamshi Das Babaji, Rupa Goswami, etc., etc. Narottam Das Thakur, Baladev Vidyabhushan, Vishnu Chakravarti, and on like that. So it's not like, it's like, should I follow Rag Marg or not? That means that you shouldn't. Because it's just like when you Rag, it's based on lobe. Lobe means intense, I have to have it. Lobe means intense greed. I've read about, I want this. I don't care. Anything gets in my way, I want this. Just like some guys, some Russian guy falls in love with a Negro woman, black woman. And he's a Russian Jew from Moscow. He has a Negro girlfriend from South Africa. He met in Moscow University. Now, his father might say, I don't think that's a good idea. You know. And his father might say, I don't think you'll get any money from me if you do that. And that might not be a good idea either. So then you might, but if you have greed, if you're like really, crazy, then you'll disregard. You'll disregard, because that's what Raganuga means. You'll disregard public opinion. You'll disregard this and that. But it doesn't mean you disregard Vaidhi Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti also gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning, or 3 or 2 or whatever. He also chants at least 16 rounds, or more like 1 lakh. And he also studies the books every day, and he also serves his guru every day. He also controls his senses, and only eats at scheduled times. He does everything, all Vaidhi, all rules and regulations. But his motivation, his heart is, I'm serving Krishna because I want to love Krishna like this, and I'm driven by this love. But it's a small love, but I'm driven and pushed and forced by this attraction, this greed. And I want this. Okay, I want this. Also, maybe I want husband, I want wife, and I need those things too. That's my karma. That's my karma. Okay, I get job and I maintain. But my heart, these are the things that my heart is aiming at. Whether we get wife or no wife, or 5 kids or 10 kids or 1 kid, this job, that job, this doesn't matter. You live in Moscow, here, there, doesn't matter. If you have rag, you follow your rag with the guidance of Guru and Sadhu Vaishnavas. And then that rag and Krishna's mercy, Radharani's mercy, Vaishnava mercy, you'll attain perfection. And Braj. Without Raganuga Bhakti, your Bhakti takes you to Vaikuntha. If you attain Prema, which is rare, very rare. So if you have some idea about Raganuga Bhakti, and then some interest and greed that way, then you consult with your Guru and your Shiksha Diksha Gurus, and get their blessings and guidance, and you go forward. Any doubts, shamshai, doubts or confusions, they're cleared by Guru, by Diksha Guru and supportive Shiksha Gurus. Sajatiya Snigdha Shiksha Gurus that are affectionate and same family line. Snigdha means affectionate, sneha, and Jati means family. It's not like, my Guru is Gaudiya Sayiskan, and he's Gaudiya. But my Shiksha Guru is from Nimbarki Sampradaya. He lives in Vrindavan. This is not same Jati. I mean, in one sense, Jati means Gaudiya Sampradaya. But in ISKCON, for example, it's a GBC law that you can't go outside of ISKCON for association. Dear GBC, I don't have any camera. So, this is a new law in the last few years. So that means you can't go out. There's many Gaudiya Vaishnavas outside of ISKCON, lakhs and lakhs. So that is a particular law of ISKCON. So members of ISKCON, they will follow that law to the best of their ability and go forward. So therefore, Sajati, and this term means my Guru. The reason I'm explaining that, Sajati means that if I want to, I have my Diksha Guru, he's in ISKCON. Now my Shiksha Guru, if I want to follow the rules, which we should, then he's also Sajati, he must also be in ISKCON. Although there are many Gaudiya Vaishnavas outside, you follow. It's clear. So Sajati can mean even, we're all Punjabis. So can I associate with all Punjabis? No, only me and my brother and my uncle, your chacha, your mama, you follow? Not all Punjabis, but just the immediate family, you can mix with them. So in ISKCON as a rule, we're Gaudiyas, but you stay within our fold. And these are the rules of the organization, so one must follow those. Your question you should address to them. I never was afraid. I've been speaking for 20 years about Raganuga Bhakti. That's why I'm here. No, whatever. Frankly speaking, there are many, many leaders in ISKCON, without naming any, you probably know yourselves, that are completely into Raganuga Bhakti. Completely. And previously they had much association with very great Vaishnavas. And maybe even still to this day they're having association with great Vaishnavas. That's their private, personal lives. Now how they want to translate that and transfer that to their disciples as GBC and leaders and gurus in ISKCON, that's their prerogative, which means they're right. And I have nothing to say about that. They're my god brothers, and I've taken Babaji Vaish, but they're my god brothers, and so I have all respect for them. So how they want to preach or how they want to carry on the aims and objectives of the mission, that's in their hands. So what you have to address them. Like if you go to somebody, you go to Bhima and say, why are some Kshatriyas fearful? It's like going to Bhima. Say, why are some Kshatriyas fearful? And he says, I don't know. Ask them. Go to Arjun. You go to Arjun. Arjun, why are some Kshatriyas? You challenge them, they run away. And then Arjun says, they're not Kshatriyas. Where are they? I will cut their heads off. They're imposters. So this question, but I understand. It's basically, they want to. That's how they want to run. They have aims and objectives of their mission, and they have their policies, and they're in a unified view of these things. So we have a phrase in America, as you must be, to each his own. To each his own. Yeah. So you find your own path, and you go your way, and Krishna will help you. I was 40 years, nobody's 40 here, I don't think so. I doubt it. 40 years of this life I was in ISKCON. 24 years old. So then by circumstance, it was not my free will, but Bhagavan's Icha, desire of God. So carry on. Sometimes hard to understand the will of God, but ultimately you can see everything is good. God is good. God is good, Guru is good, and Guru is best, and God is good. I don't know God. God's so far away. I know Guru. Guru is best. I know Guru. I met Guru. I see Guru. I talk to Guru. I ask questions. I take of him. So, Guru is best. God, he's good. It's a joke, But it's all good. God is good. Devotees are good. All devotees are good. I have that mind. I have all good feelings for all devotees. But many don't feel so good about me. Anyway, more questions? Are you one of the Vishnu? You're one of the Vishnu Jan incarnations of Russia. I met so many. I don't remember meeting you, but I went many times on Braj Yatras with Russian devotees, and they're all, of course, tall and quite strong, most of them, and kirtan leaders, and I don't know their names. And they remind me. I said, "Wait, they have a whole bunch of Vishnu Jans over there." There's all these enthusiastic, tall, strong, ecstatic Sankirtan leaders in Russia. I've seen. This is another one. Met 10 or 15 in the last 2 years. When I grew up, there's only one Vishnu Jan Swami, one in the entire ISKCON. He was so charismatic and effulgent and attractive. And then with these Russian devotees, everybody's Russian. I see either Indian or Russian. That's all I meet. There's so many, isn't it? And then this guy, what's his name? Ananda Vardhan comes, and he has always all different new leaders, and each one is better than the previous one. They're really good. They play and sing. One guy he has recently is a really good singer, and he doesn't even know music. He said, "I just have a good ear. I listen." He listens in the day, and in the night he figures out the tune. He doesn't know music. He didn't study in this life. You know, I don't know what he is. He's a very gentle face, young looking, and nice voice. He was there last time around, you know? And I asked, and he said, yeah, I hear some tune, and he up. You know? Or, huh? And mercy and maybe just last life samskars, you know? And it just comes out. Otherwise, we don't have that. We can't do that. Well, how he has and we don't have. I'm getting mercy too, but I can't do that. You're getting mercy, you can't do it. So it's mercy plus more. Samskars many times.